Dana, is it? Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Thought yesterday was a Sabbath. Last day of Tabernacles. Hold on. No, today the 29th is Wednesday. No, today's not a Sabbath, is it? Oh my gosh. Lavon, Uncle Nathaniel, Tiffany. Oh my gosh, y'all. I felt so weird not being here every day. Excuse me. Yes, I'm back, y'all. Whew. Last week was rough. It was rough. Shayla, hey. Okay, y'all, look. Hold on. I'm still trying to put myself together. No, Dana. Today is not a Sabbath. Maybe I marked my days wrong. I thought I calculated it right. Hold on. Tabernacles. So we here today. No. Yesterday, Sabbath. Last day of Tabernacles. No, we good. Yeah. The last day of Sukkot was yesterday. Yeah, that's right, Tiffany. Yeah, Dana. 8 day of Tabernacles. Yeah, we right. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday, right? Wednesday. Yeah, the trash is out. Yeah, Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling a whole lot better than what I was. Excuse me. Excuse me if I cough a little bit, y'all. Mess around, be joking on people. Be joking. I don't be joking that they got to be not like that. Mess around. Yo, I was like, I better stop. I play too much. Right? Look, okay. Hold on. Let me do the opening. And then I'll share a little bit of my last week sabbatical with you. Whew, y'all. Okay, it is September the 29th, 2021. It's Wednesday. Today. Hold on. Sorry. Catch my days. Day 265. 265. Year 3. Another 3-year consecutive day count. We know we're a week off, y'all, but hey, it's day 900 according to us being here. Day 934. Yeah, the last day I saw y'all was on September the 20th. Then the next day was a Sabbath, and it began Tabernacles. Okay, y'all. Today we read Malachi. I don't know. I'm gonna see how my breath is doing before we get into Caesar's Messiah, where we pick up where we left off at. Since Malachi is 4 short books, we're gonna read those 3. I'll see how I'm feeling once I'm done reading those 4 chapters. We might have to stop. Hold on. Let me take a sip of water. Dream, sky lover, shalom. Get to stop. What is up with this top? Hold on. I know I ain't that weak. No, I just think it's stuck. Okay. All right, y'all. Look, so last week. Excuse me. So last week. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I was thinking about taking another few days off, but I think I'm good. Just kind of push through it. So last week I knew I had already told y'all I was feeling a little weird. And that one day when my body temperature kept going up, remember my glasses was fogging up, I knew definitely my body was really in overtime working to burn up whatever was going on. And shucks, I ain't been sick in years, y'all. Maybe like a little sniffle here and there. But nothing major like what I was dealing with last week. I was like, well, maybe it's something in the air, or maybe this second strand, I don't know, maybe it's a whole lot stronger than what the first one was. Excuse me. So let's see. Monday, I knew Monday, um, that I was probably gonna definitely need to take a couple days off because the coughing was getting really bad, and I haven't coughed in I don't know how long. And I'm like, okay, I definitely, because remember I told you I was going ham on the Reese's, and I think that's what did it for me. Hold on, let me get a piece of tissue too. Okay, so I think it was my foolishness with candy, the chocolate candy. I love Reese's, but I had bought this big bag, the family size, where it got the mini Reese's in it, and I was just every time you looked at me, I was popping the Reese's in my mouth. Right, love peanut butter chocolate. Right, so, but I began to notice during that week that it really started to have an effect on my body. I was like, oh yeah, I better stop this. Especially with them saying everything is changing and all the weather and all that stuff acting crazy. So I'm like, well, I'm going back to popping my vitamins. I just kind of double my dosage on stuff. So I did that, but I think I was a little bit too late in doing it because I'm gonna tell you what it was. Because whatever it was had already gotten a hold of me while I was popping chocolate left and right. So, but Jeremiah had been complaining, but Jeremiah had done like a 3-day water fast. And I was telling him how to break his fast and when he come off not to go back eating like huge meals and stuff. But did he listen? No. He got sick. Eating like that day he ate 3 huge meals. I'm like, Jeremiah, what are you doing? Now he's in turmoil and stuff. I was like, boy, you done overloaded your body. So he actually got sick by refeeding himself wrong. So he was sick for a couple of days. And while he was sick, because we hadn't gone anywhere, he had gotten sick. Then he started complaining that he couldn't smell and he couldn't taste. I'm like, boy, you better get out of here because I kept checking on him. And so it was probably being in close contact with him that whatever he had, he didn't get tested. But Bella started complaining that her ears were hurting. So we took her to the patient first and they checked her out. After 2 days complaining, I just kind of watched her for like the first day. Then the second day, she was still complaining. She wasn't like crying or anything, but she just kept saying, Mom, my ears hurt. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and just, excuse me, take over the patient first so they can check her real quick. And I'm glad I did because she did have like a little small ear infection. They said it was a little bit irritated. But when you go to patient first, they automatically um, tested her for COVID. Her test came back negative. So of course they asked, has anybody has anybody been in contact with anybody who was positive? And I was like, no, not that we know of. A couple family members had come to the house or whatever, but that was it. So when her test came back negative, it was like sweet. So ain't nobody here in the house got COVID. Um, but I progressively started getting worse and the cough and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work. So I got some Delsum. I'm like, Pam, girl, you knew you should have left that chocolate alone. So I started taking some Delsum. So in the morning, I would get up, excuse me. I would get up in the morning. Um, all week before last, I was getting up early enough just to kind of work it out my system. I would take some Delsum, give it a little bit of time to kick in. So while I was talking and reading, I wouldn't start coughing. And it seemed to work. But as the days went on, it was getting worse. So I'm like, Father, hold on. I said, have we sinned? Have we done something wrong? I said, clearly I know I was overdoing it on the chocolate. That's about the only thing I can think of. But even the kids they get it was just like a day, 2 days at the max with all the kids. So it was like, okay, maybe it's a smaller virus or whether it's changing, it was just kind of passing through, right? So everybody after a couple days, nobody, I mean, except for Bella with her the ear infection, they gave her some antibiotics for that. Everybody else was fine. And I knew why Jeremiah was sick because he had broken his fast the wrong way. And then clearly he just kind of got sick from there. Um But on the 20th, yeah, the 20th, I think it was the 20th, where I sent y'all the message, where I posted a message on, I did like a little video. I posted on YouTube and on Facebook. I was like, I might need to take a couple of days off. Um, and I figured since it was the tabernacles, I just rest the entire tabernacles, right? I'm so glad I did because I didn't know I was going to be in the hospital the next day because it got extremely bad that night. Like I could feel it coming on. I hadn't felt I had never felt anything like that, so I wasn't sure. I just knew I was feeling bad. But I'm glad I posted that message because my husband had to take me to the hospital. Like literally, y'all, I couldn't walk. Like the dizziness and it was a dizziness and a nausea had gotten really bad. I was dizzy sitting up, standing up, and laying down. Like I was laying down. I was literally it felt like I had to hold on to the bed, like somebody was swinging my bed around. I'm like, this something is definitely off. Something is definitely off about my body, right? So my husband he had to help bathe me for a couple of days and everything. That's how bad it was, y'all. That's how bad it was. Um Now although the nausea was really bad, I never like threw up. It was just this nagging feeling of nausea. Even worse than like when I'm pregnant and have morning sickness, and I have the worst morning sickness to where I actually have to go to the hospital and they have to give me fluids and stuff, give me IV because that's how bad it was. But of course, during that time, I couldn't hold anything down. But the nausea was bad. Although nothing was coming up, different things was happening. And so when my husband was getting me ready, I started thinking about all the stories of the people going into the hospital. Everything started hitting me. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Father, I was like, nah, I completely trust in you. I said, but there are some horror stories in the last year at the era of it and people going in there and not coming out. I said, ain't really nothing I can do at this point. You gonna have to make sure I come home. But seriously, I was really scared to where I was making sure I told my husband. I said, I let him know where all well, he knew where it was, but I was just reminding him of where the insurance policies and stuff was at inside the safe and everything. He was like, babe, he said, be quiet. We're coming home. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you. I was like, I know, but just in case, everything is there. It's $2 million. And he said, I know what it is, Pam. I said, but just the keys are here, here, here. Tell the kids I love them. Like it wasn't that bad, but that's how bad I was feeling. Where I felt like I needed to just kind of give all the stuff that he may not remember, may or may not, but he clearly he did. So we got to the hospital. We went to Chesapeake General, and so when we got to the ER was backed up. Like it was like backed up where the wait was excuse me, the wait was 4 hours, right? So I'm like, I don't know that I'm gonna make it 4 hours. Right. I wasn't arguing because I was barely talking anyway. My husband actually had to get a wheelchair to get me out the car and everything and get me into the hospital. So when we got there, of course they, what's wrong and how long it's been going on. So we they got us in there, and then as I was kind of mumbling through what was happening, they decided to check my temperature. They asked I had the temperature. I said, I'm sure I have. I haven't taken it, but I said I'm burning up. I'm burning up now. So they got the thermometer and stuff, and they took my temperature. And my temperature was 103.5, and of course, voila, I didn't have to wait 4 hours. They wheeled me right to the back. Right. So they got that. They gave me some Tylenol and gave me ice packs. It took a while for my temperature to come down. The day that I was up there, I kept getting hot. I was just feeling hot, and you can tell from my glasses fogging up that my body temperature kept raising, but I wasn't feeling bad. Although the little cough was starting, the Delsum at that point seemed to kind of take care of it a little bit, right? So when it took shucks, it took a couple hours for my temperature to come down, and even an hour later after they had excuse me, after they had given me the Tylenol, I was still at 102. So they kept checking on me like every 30 minutes, and And still after, shucks, I think even at 3 hours, my temperature was still at 99, so they was just kept giving me ice packs and stuff, and them ice packs was seem like they was melting in like a couple minutes. That's how hot it was, right? And so they asked me, had I been exposed to anybody with COVID? I was like, I don't think so. I said, and I told them about Bella, and they had given her COVID test, and that from the time she went to the doctor, it had been a week, so she had already they had antibiotics in her system for like a week, right? So, I was like, no, and I told them that they had given her a COVID test and she was negative and she's up under me all the time. So they said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and give you one. And they decide, well, I think they was gonna give me one anyway. But when I told them that I had lost my smell and I had lost my taste, I couldn't taste anything. They said, yeah, that definitely sounds like symptoms of COVID, right? And so I was like, okay, so they gave me a test and they was back in the room, y'all, in like 20 minutes. I think it was a rapid test, but they had like the results in like 20 minutes. They said, Miss Murphy, you tested positive for COVID. And my husband was like, what? It felt like they told me I had just tested positive for AIDS or something. I'm like, no. I'm like, what are we gonna do? And so I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't freak out. And I'm just thinking about all this stuff. I'm like, who could have come to the house? Because we hadn't been anywhere. And Bella tested negative and stuff, and so and the kids were fine, and so all this stuff I'm thinking about going through my head. And so and then my husband, he said, well, what are you gonna do? And they said, well, at this point, he said, "Are y'all gonna give her the vaccine?" Because, and then when he said, and I just kind of looked up. I was barely moving anyway because my neck was all stiff and my eyes got big. I'm like, what? He said, "No, babe, just make sure that they not." And the doctor, they said, "Well, there's no point in giving her if she even if she wanted it. There's no point in giving it to her now anyway because she's already positive for COVID. Because what the vaccine does, everybody have their thoughts about it or whatever. But what the vaccine does, it's supposed to activate your, they're supposed to stimulate your immune system and get the antibodies or whatever going, help your body to produce the antibodies to fight off the virus if you should get it, right? But because I had already had it, my body was already doing what the vaccine is going to do anyway. So they said anybody who actually has COVID, the vaccine is useless to them because their body is already stimulated and started to do what the vaccine was created to do. I'm like, yes, natural immunity, so but still I got sick, so but they said, yeah, even people there's really no point even after people actually get COVID, there is no point in them actually getting the shot because their body has, I mean, if they made it through, their body has already done what the vaccines are designed to do, right? So so that was that. They came and hooked me up. Um they took blood work and everything so they can test some other stuff, and they got the liquids flowing. I was extremely dehydrated, just in a couple days, y'all, because with the nausea and everything, I wasn't eating anything. I although I couldn't because I didn't know if it was going to come up. So I just wasn't eating anything. So they got me hooked up and everything, and then they came in and they explained to me. They said, "Well, the only thing we have at this point is the drug. I forget what it's called. I had to go look through my paperwork, but I forget what it is." And they said that it's on a look when they said it's on emergency release. I mean, it was just approved by the FDA for emergency use. That kind of just like it perked my ears up. I'm like, I don't trust the FDA for nothing. I was like, and so I started asking questions about this emergency drug. My husband started asking questions, and so they said, well, it was literally just put on the approved list for emergency use. And I was like, well, how many people have had it? And so they said, well, we can't really give out that information, we're told to give you this. It was a one page, y'all, a one-page sheet of this emergency drug and what it's supposed to do to help you fight off COVID if you are already an active case, right? And so they said, well, we're told to let you read it and you have to decide. We can't give you any kind of. I was like, okay, well, has it been tested? They said, well, according to the paperwork, like the way they started talking about it, I'm like, oh, heck no, they ain't about to use me as a guinea pig. I was like, nope, I think I want to keep paying on my insurance policy a little bit longer. And so the doctor left out, and it seemed like the doctor didn't really want to answer the questions because of the questions we were asking about this. And they said, we're told to refer you to this piece of paper with all the information. That's all we know. I said, well, has anybody else here taken it? Is anybody here in the hospital right now that's agreed to taking this drug? They said, we can't give you that information. Miss Murphy, I have to go check on something. I'll be back. And the doctor hightailed it out the room. I said, babe, I don't know about this. And so we called my sister, and she's a nurse. And so he read the one page thing to her. He actually screenshot it, and she had already read it by the time he called, by the time the doctor left. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. I said, if I should pass out or something, I said, don't let the whatever that is, I don't want that. So he said, babe, I'm gonna make sure they'll give it to you. And so then the other nurse had came back in. She said, well, the doctor said, we'll give you some time to think about it. And we'll we'll come back and check on you. And so the time they was going was probably about 30 minutes while we was going over this form, deliberating this emergency use approval drug by the FDA. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know. I said, read me all the side effects, the little small print. And so he started going through the little small print. I said, wait, you still going? I said, first of all, pause right there. Check the list, scan the list. I said, is death on that list? And of course, death is at the very last one out. I think he was reading through it. I said, yeah, no. I might be able to deal with some of the other stuff, but death being on that list of side effects and the way the doctor was half answering the questions and got out of here and said, we'll give you some time to think about it and we can't give you any more information. I said, yeah, this is suspect. I don't know. It may have worked for some people. I said, but I don't know that I want to take the chance with this emergency approved use drug by the FDA. And when did they just approve it? Just this week? No, no, they have no other guinea pigs. I said, I'm not gonna be on that list. Nope. I know a couple people that tried some of their emergency drugs and they're no longer in the land of the living. I don't want to add myself to that number at this point. And so we decided against the emergency use drug. And listening to what the doctor was saying, they said the vaccine is not going to help you now anyway. They said, so either you're going to have to ride it out or you take your chances with the drug. That's what the doctor said. They say either you, Miss Murphy, either you just gonna have to ride it out with the symptoms and hopes that you get better. Like I hate how they add them words of doubt to kind of scare you a little bit because they really want you to take the drug. And I'm just like, because at this point, you're vulnerable. I'm vulnerable, sick, coughing uncontrollably at this point, and body temperature still trying to come down. They say, yeah, it's definitely some kind of infection in her blood. Like they're using all these scary words, right? So I'm just like, okay. And I had to go to my quiet place. I'm like, Father, I know you are real. I said, and I don't know if I'm hearing straight at this point. I said, but if I'm coming to be with you, I'm gonna fight with everything I got. But I'm not helping the process along the way. Cause I don't think it's my time. I got too many kids. I said, we're trying to buy a house. Y'all, I'm in the hospital acting foolish now. My husband he's just kind of rubbing my leg. So I'm in my quiet place and stuff. I was like, look, I even brought y'all up. I said, and the people think I'm coming back in a week. I said, we can't let all these people down. I said, I don't really think look, I'm trying to keep myself from calm. I said, I don't think I've accomplished my purpose yet. I said, I just never found out about Jesus. Hold on, y'all. Look. I said, I don't think you just start revealing all this stuff to me just to take me on the glory now. I said, I ain't ready to go. I'm not ready to go. And my husband and they're laughing. But oh, I forgot to tell y'all, before my husband came back, when they took me to the back, they told him that he couldn't stay in there. And that's when I kind of started panicking a little bit because ain't no telling what they was gonna do to me while I was back there. Not that I had any kind of feel they was gonna do anything, but I was just it really kind of upset me a little bit because they said, well, nobody's allowed back here. They said once we get her to a room and get her in there stable, then you will be able to come back. So he actually waited in the parking lot for like about an hour. And then he called my cell phone to make sure my phone was charged and had my charger. So he came back to the house and got the kids straight, made sure they ate and everything. So probably about 2 hours later, they actually had me in my room. And so they told me that I could go ahead and call him and he could come back up there. I was like, okay. So it calmed me down a little bit. So that's when he actually got back, is when a doctor came in and started telling us all the stuff about this emergency approved drug from the FDA and everything, right? So after all my little prayers and foolishness and stuff in there, I kind of calmed down on the coughing and the fluids and stuff was starting to take effect. And they gave me some medicine for the nausea, which actually made me drowsy and it knocked me out. So whatever happened from that point for the next couple hours, I couldn't even tell you. My husband was just kind of explaining that doctor came back in. They was trying to wake me up. It was checking my temperature and stuff. Like I felt nothing. So so a few hours later, they didn't keep me overnight. I thought they was gonna keep me overnight, but they told me because I refused the drug, they weren't gonna keep me. And they were gonna send me home. And I'm just like, well, what what sense does that make? I was like, I could die leaving out of here. Y'all just gonna send me home. But if I choose to take the emergency drug, y'all need to keep me for observation. I said, it don't sound right either way. I said, so it look like I'm taking my chances either way I go, So I was like, well, we just gonna have to get out of here. I mean, I was better leaving out of there later that night than I was, excuse me, going in because they had given me fluids and everything. But coming back home, the medicine that they gave me, although it worked, they gave me medicine for the lightheaded and the dizziness, the nausea, and for the cough. And the coughing, I don't know what that crap was, but it didn't help. Because no sooner than I got back, got back home maybe a couple hours later, after what they had given me while I was in there had worn off, the coughing had come back, and the medicine that they gave me for the coughing didn't work at all. So I actually used some of the over-counter medicine, the Delsum, which seemed to work, right? So let me tell y'all about this medicine that they gave me. It was medicine for the dizziness and the nausea. I forget the name. I forget the medical terms for it. And medicine for the nausea. I think the medicine for the nausea is the same type that they had given me when I was pregnant. So I think it's actually the medicine for the dizziness that caused the nightmares. Guys, when I say that, I don't know what's in that particular pharmaceutical drug, but when I say it gave me nightmares, it gave me nightmares for days until I realized that it was the medicine that was doing it. I haven't taken it in a couple days now, but still my dreams are still kind of out of whack, right? So I'm just like, what in the crap? First of all, what's in this, right? Let me tell you. I was dreaming about dead people, people that I know been dead, gone for years. Even some people that have died that I know recently, like dead people. Even one of my dreams, my aunt, she been she's been passed away for years now, but she was in my dreams trying to attack me like dead. Like you ever hear people say, "Oh, I see dead people." Like the dreams that I was having, I was literally dreaming about dead people that I knew and dead people that I didn't know, and they were trying to talk to me. And I'm like, what? And of course, I'm aware of this in my dream. And I'm like, we ain't supposed to be talking to the dead. Why are y'all trying to talk to me? And then my aunt, because I don't know why she was trying to fight me, but every time I saw her, she was running to attack me and fight me in my dream. Yeah, I don't know what all that was about, but it was crazy. it wasn't just the dead people either. It was all other kind of crazy stuff that I never dream about. So I believe people now when they say like the drugs that the doctors give you to have you loopy. I knew that before when I had back in 2009 when I had that topic pregnancy and they gave me morphine because that had me loopy. But it didn't give me crazy dreams. It just had me like out of my wits. Like I felt like I was like this patient in a crazy house, like drooling and stuff. It like literally had me drooling. That's why I'm like, I don't do drugs. I ain't playing around. I ain't really doing no medicine. The most hard thing that I'm gonna do is Motrin, right? And that's over the counter. I said because I don't like what it does to the body. So I'm just like, yeah, no. So I think the medicine, although I haven't taken it for a couple days, I think it's still trying to work itself out of my system. Because, like I say, even my dreams are still kind of off, and it's weird, you know. So now it got me thinking about dreams now and how they're so easy, how they can be so easily infiltrated, right? And not just I'm clearly I know that your dreams can be tainted by what you watch all the time and stuff, right? But even taking medicine, it was absolutely crazy, you know. So said all that, I feel based on last week and all the craziness that I went through, I really at a point I really did think I was like, okay, I don't know if it's my time to go, but I don't know. It's just when you feel real bad, sometimes you think, "Oh my God, you about to die." But it did. It really, really felt that bad. And I had, although I could breathe, my breath was really short. You know, I could barely walk. James literally had to, and although I wasn't moving much, I was trying to stay a little mobile, but I just couldn't move. You know, my breath was really short, even if I moved. So, but that excuse me, that's a lot better. Everything else is a lot better. When I realized the nightmares was coming from the medicine, I called my sister and I was explaining to her what was happening. And so she was like, "What?" She said she never heard that it gives people nightmares. I said, "Yes, it's giving me nightmares. There's nothing else that I've done." Clearly, she didn't prescribe it, but you know, she's a RN. So I was telling her what was happening, you know, and she deals with COVID patients a lot on her floor and everything. So they kind of track different things that happen with different people. And she said nobody's ever mentioned. She said maybe they just didn't tell us, or it hasn't come across any patient she had, but none of them with them prescribing the medicine, nobody has ever complained about nightmares. I was like, well, yes, they've given me nightmares, and maybe I don't know, maybe it affects different people different ways depending on what your gifts are or whatever, or how it manifests itself. I don't know, but it was giving me nightmares, and I couldn't sleep every time I closed my eyes, and I was dreaming back to back to back to every time I closed my eyes, I was in a different dream. And it was horrible. I couldn't sleep, you know. So she said, well, maybe try taking some what is it? The NyQuil or Mucinex. She's like, wait a minute, hold on. She said, I think NyQuil has alcohol in it, so you got to double check it. So, which it did. So I went to the Mucinex, and lo and behold, it's the over the counter Mucinex cold and fever. I think cold and fever extreme or something like that. It was like one of the ones for like the worst. Anyway, I took the Mucinex. The directions tell you take two of the pills once every 4 hours as needed. I took the Mucinex, and the Mucinex stopped the dizziness and the nausea within about 30 minutes, right? So from the last week of constantly feeling dizzy and everything, even with the medicine that the doctor had given me, it still took a while to kick in. And even when I took it, although it stopped the majority of it, it I was still kind of I could feel it, and I was still having to move really slow, right? But that over the counter Mucinex Extreme or whatever that was, I'm gonna have to get the name of it. I'll type it in the what you call it just in case y'all, you know, hopefully y'all not, hopefully y'all good. But that stuff, I don't know what's in that stuff, but whatever it is, it took care of the dizziness and the nausea, right? And so I've actually taken that now maybe 4 times. So the first day when I got it, I took it at like 4 p.m. and then probably about 10 p.m. that night I took it again. But then the next day I could definitely feel a difference. It was like a turning point in my body. I was like, Father, thank you for Mucinex, you know. So, but since I started taking the Mucinex, everything is seemed to be getting better, you know. Now, I didn't take it at all yesterday because, like I said, I'm not a big drug taker over the counter. I even try to stay away from taking Motrin so much now, right? Um, but even that next day, I had only taken it once. I was like, I ain't gonna keep taking. I'ma just as I started feeling better, I started trying to move around a little bit more. And it seemed like strength was coming back to my legs the next day and I could move around a little bit. Although my husband didn't really have to help me as much. I was still kind of holding on to like the bedpost and the wall and everything I could touch just to make sure I kept my balance, you know. And I didn't go downstairs. The second 2 days, I didn't even try to do the stairs. Um, so, but after that, you know, my husband just kind of helped me with everything, just bringing everything to me upstairs and moving around, just trying not to lay around and, you know, but that second day of taking the Mucinex, I only took it that morning. And I was kind of scared because I wasn't sure. I'm like, maybe it's enough of it in my system where it's keeping the nausea and everything at bay. I was like, but we're gonna test it because I don't want to keep taking it, you know. So I didn't take any. And I didn't start feeling bad, but I could feel it kind of felt like the nausea and the dizziness was coming back. So I just kind of sat down for a little bit. They actually helped me down the stairs. And so I kind of sat in the living room for the whole day. That second day I took the Mucinex. And I just kind of, you know, just kind of kept moving a little bit and just standing up every now and again, moving around, taking deep breaths and stuff because I was really trying not to take the medicine again. And so I was pretty good up until the time it was time to go to bed. And they helped me back up. Well, they didn't really have to help me. They just kind of walked behind me, making sure I ain't tumble backwards. But that was good. When I got up the next morning, I was okay. I didn't feel any kind of dizziness or the nausea or anything. So whatever is in the Mucinex, or maybe it had just been so long anyway, because it was like a 2 whole week period. Like the first week, I was still doing a video, but when I really felt something was wrong, I was like, "Yep, we're gonna take a break the next week." That's when it started really getting bad because I was feeling it progressively getting worse, and that's when I had to go to the hospital. So, but yeah, so I haven't taken anything for the last couple days now. I still can't really smell anything. My taste is back a little bit. The first time I was able to taste something, because my mom has actually been kind of helping out too, and she making. Although I couldn't taste it, she made like chicken noodle soup and like vegetable soup and everything for a few days, and she was bringing some over, and I couldn't taste the first couple soups she made or whatever. The kids, everybody said it was good. I couldn't taste or smell anything. Matter of fact, the day that my smell went out was the day I went to the hospital. Actually, no, it was the day before I went to the hospital because I was taking a shower and all the symptoms hadn't like really kicked in. And I was still able to shower myself and everything. And I was in there and I was smelling the soap. And after a few moments, I'm like, why can't I smell the soap? And it's a strong soap. It was the Irish Spring, like the green Irish Spring, and that's pretty strong, right? I couldn't smell it. I'm like, I'm tripping, you know. What? This is the effective bar of soap, and it hadn't cooled. Then I'm like, why can't I smell this soap? You know, so I started checking my body washes. I had like 4 body washes in there, so I'm opening them. I'm like, I was like, no. And so I washed my face, I cleaned out my nose and everything, and I couldn't smell anything. And I was like, what in the crap? And it still wasn't dawning on me that that was a symptom of COVID. I'm just like, why can't I smell anything? So I gotten out the shower and everything. I let my husband know. I was like, babe, I can't smell anything. You know, he's like, what? I said, I can't smell anything. And he was like, he said, you know, he said, I ain't trying to speak nothing. He said that don't sound so good. He said, because that sounds like that's a symptom of the vid. I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. That is. I was like, oh my God. And that then shortly after that was when I began to realize I couldn't taste anything. I couldn't taste nothing. Like, and we went through a host of different things trying to taste things that were cold and things that were hot, things that were wet and things that were dry. Right? Couldn't taste anything. The only thing that I could feel was like the temperature in my mouth and the moisture, whether it was wet or dry, but it tasted like complete nothingness. And I didn't realize, and although water doesn't have a taste, it wasn't until my taste went out that I realized water actually has a taste. And it was just wetness in my mouth when I drank the water. Like when you normally drink water, it's like you could feel the cleanliness and the water flow through your taste buds and everything. I couldn't even feel that. It felt to me that there was like a film or some kind of cover covering my senses and my taste where nothing was getting through. So I mean, like I heated stuff up. I tried to smell through the steam. I tried to break whatever that was. Nothing was happening. So things, it was just, excuse me, like I said, it was just like the moisture, like the wetness or the hotness, the spiciness. Now the spiciness I could taste once it got to my throat. Now I couldn't taste it in my mouth or anything, but that heat and the only and I'm not even gonna say that I could taste it. It was just the heat that I felt as it began to digest and everything as it was passing through my throat. I felt it, but then my sister said, she said, well, try lemon. Now, the lemon, I mean, I tried some of everything. The lemon I could taste on the tip of my tongue. I could taste that, but anywhere else in my mouth, like I was eating the lemon and it really wasn't affecting me. And even the what I could feel on the tip of my tongue, it was really faint. So I'm like, this is something is really wrong about this. And I'm not even sure how that even happens, how your senses are cut off, but whatever it is, maybe it's I don't know, whatever it is that the virus attacks in your brain, it seems to cut off those sensors and you can't taste and you can't smell. So, but a little bit of my taste is back. Um, and I realized some of my taste came back the third day. My mom had bought some soup over here, and a little bit of my smell had come back because when I opened it up, I smelled it because I'm in a habit of smelling things anyway, but I was really smelling stuff like you don't really realize how important your senses are until you don't have them anymore. And I was even outside. I went outside. I was trying to smell the flowers, and when I couldn't smell the flowers, guys, got me all choked up. I feel like crying now. I couldn't smell. I went in the backyard. I couldn't smell the flowers. I couldn't even smell the fresh air. Like I could tell it was there, but there was nothing with the like deciphering the like what it is. Like you can smell, oh, that's a rose or that's a petunia or things that you're used to smelling. You don't realize how distinct the smells are. I couldn't even smell stink. Not that I stink, but uh I was like smelling under my arms and I knew I was, but I couldn't even smell the deodorant. My husband was helping me out, washing me and everything because I was too tired, too fatigued to do it. But he was making sure I was putting on the stuff that I normally put on, but I couldn't even smell the deodorant, couldn't smell the perfume, right? So that was horrible enough in itself, you know. But I'm glad they're starting to come out. Like I said, some of the stuff is still faint. The first time I was able to smell something was like the third day my mom bought the soup and I could smell it. I was like, okay, I can smell this. And she was standing around, I was like, I can smell this. I was like, okay. So I tasted a little bit and I was able to taste a little bit. So it was that I think it was my mama's breakthrough chicken noodle soup or something. But that worked. But that was the only thing at that time that I could smell or taste. Nothing else still I could smell or taste because after I did that, later that day I decided to test some other things. I still couldn't smell or taste any of the other stuff. And I went back to the chicken noodle soup and I could smell it and I tasted it again. I was like, and I can taste this. I was like, well, what's different that's in this soup that that the other stuff maybe doesn't have where it's not jogging my senses and smell and taste and stuff, you know. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But yeah. Um, but yeah, they you probably missed it when I said it earlier. And everybody came in. Hey, everybody! I'm so glad to see y'all. Um, But yeah, they tested me when I was in the hospital, and they said that the test for COVID came back positive and everything. But so I don't know. So I'm sure it's run its course. I'm still like I said, you didn't see me coughing or whatever. It's still I'm still healing. Getting everything back to 100. I feel 100% better. Although I can still tell I'm a little off a little bit. And that's really because of like the coughing. My breath, I can take deep breaths, but I'm still a little short-winded. So even coming down the stairs today, I was a excuse me, I was a little winded coming down the stairs, and I'm still moving a little bit slow, but I can definitely tell it's getting better day by day. So I would not wish that on my worst enemy. And I know it's probably I don't know. I Like I said, I think it was my own fault when I went kind of crazy with the chocolate candies a couple weeks ago. Like I was popping them left and right. So that probably didn't help me with everything that's going through the air or whatever. And y'all, I don't know that I didn't catch the first strand or whatever it was. I think my immune system was pretty good. My system was pretty good, but this second wave or whatever it is, and like I said, I don't know that it's airborne, but we hadn't really gone anywhere, been in contact with anybody. So, and even with Bella having the test and hers coming back negative, all of that, but still found a way to make its way in. And even my husband, he started getting like a few little sniffles, and he started getting body aches and stuff, but he's not a big candy eater either, so the stuff that I was taking, he was just taking a bunch of it, the natural herbs and stuff, and that really kind of shook it off for him. But for me, I think I damaged myself going overboard with all that chocolate candy a couple weeks ago. So guys, be careful, what you eat right. Cut out all the junk and the processed food. I really think if I hadn't done that with the end, it wasn't just the Reese's either. Go ahead and confess my sins to the brethren. To the brethren. I was eating Reese's. Um, the kids had like sour patches and stuff. Like we had bought them like this little candy thing, and every time I passed it, I was grabbing handfuls of it. Just I mean, cause I don't really like hard candies, but I like the gummies and stuff and sour candy, and I really love chocolate. And I was eating all of it, all of it, right? And so I think that really contributed a lot to how I got sick. I don't know. And then, like I said, I don't know. But I'm glad that it's passed through. And I pray that not another wave ever come through here, through my house. Um, and hopefully I built up enough immunity to whatever different strands and stuff start popping off, that my body will be good against it. Because from what the doctor was saying, they said people who get COVID, they said even if you wanted to get the vaccine, it wouldn't there'd be no point in you getting it, because I'm already like in the deep throes of their symptoms, and I haven't tested positive and everything. So they said my body is already doing what it needs to do, which is why they did. Say, yeah, my body already has the antibodies because I got sick, and it just created when it's trying to fight it off. So um, yeah. So thank you, Lisa. But yeah, so that's still everybody's choice if you decide to get it or not. I did it. I don't think I was ever going to take it anyway. Those were my thoughts before. I was never going to get it, because I'm not in the habit of getting them anyway. I don't even get flu shots because I just don't get sick uh, until recently. So, but yeah, so y'all, that's the story. I done spent the whole time telling y'all about my shenanigans last week to see. So how's that going to work if you want to travel, can't fly without man that they trying to pass? I don't know. We're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get there. For now, we just gonna travel in the vehicle, right? um, so I don't know. I mean, they can't. I have my thoughts about it. I really do, and especially if what's crazy to me is how even people that have already had COVID, first of all, if you have COVID, they tell you, okay, well, how severe was your case, right? Because depending on how severe your case was, they'll tell you how long you need to wait if you choose to get the vaccine still. And right, and the doctor say you don't need it. Now, all they got the television actors and doctors and the everything that they're trying to push. Okay, whatever. It all a lot of it is fear based tactic, all that stuff. But from what the doctor was telling me, she was said if you already have COVID, anybody that's ever contracted COVID, there's no need for them to ever to get the vaccine because the body has already done what they created the vaccines to do, right? So you don't need it. Why would you even consider taking it if you've already had it? It doesn't make sense. Right. And I don't think they can legally mandate it. Now, what I'm seeing is companies who um companies, well, I'll say the leaders of companies, just depending on, I don't know, someone may be getting kickback or whatever, but someone really believe what the government say. Yes, natural immunity is better than any kind of jab they try and give you, right? It's especially that because a lot of the cases also, I guess it's a good mix, but they're actually seeing the more people who got sick from the vid, they actually didn't get sick until after they got the vaccine. It's more people, um, at least recently, more people, the people who are getting sick, most of them are the ones who actually got the jab. But there is a mix of people like me who haven't had it and still catch it from however. Like I said, now I think it could be airborne because, like I said, we really hadn't gone anywhere in the last few weeks or been in any kind of contact with people who we're not normally in contact with, which is close family. But I would say our circle of contact hadn't changed, but maybe some of our family members had been in contact with um, somebody else who maybe had been exposed to or was positive, and maybe they were asymptomatic or whatever. Maybe they was carrying and didn't even know it, which is how it got back here. Now my daughter-in-law also um had got it. She was about as bad as I was a couple weeks before um I had got sick. Same type of things was happening with her. She was extremely weak and everything. But she didn't go to the hospital, although they did call the paramedics to the house, check her oxygen levels and everything. They didn't actually take her to the hospital, they just kind of dealt with her right there at home. But she's pretty much, well, she's she's better, but she had issues with her vision going in and out. She said that's still going in and out. Um, and I think she said her taste is still kind of faint. But um, other than that, it could have been somebody that they were in contact with, which is why she got sick. But we had actually been in contact with them too because they had come over, which I'm thinking is probably how it kind of got here to my house. So I mean, we're not really sure. We're just kind of thinking about it, but it would have to come from that area there with them being in contact with somebody that didn't know, and then she got sick. And because while she was sick we were fine. I was helping them even with the juice. I was like, juice this and that and this to kind of help. So, but I don't know, I think it kind of came from that way. But even the first day I had taken the Mucinex, right, I was like, babe, let's try some of the juices. Excuse me. Refrigerator full of stuff to juice. Now I was like, okay, let's try and get some of that in me. So he was like, you're gonna have to help me walk because I'm normally the one doing all the juicing. So I told him what to put in it. And we was making some mean green juice. And here's what's crazy. During my dreams, all the crazy dreams that the medicine was giving me and the nightmares, there was one consistent thing that was flowing through all those crazy dreams where I think it was like not caused by the medicine that was giving me nightmares that the doctors had prescribed for me. Um throughout the craziness of the dreams, I kept hearing And it was like I was seeing it, and it was like I was hearing it too. And it was saying, "Drink mean green juice. Drink mean green juice." And you may not know what mean green juice is, but it's a juice. You ever seen that the little documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, with the guy Joe Cross? He was overweight, and then he went on a green juice fast, and he called it, and his name is Joe Cross, so he called it Joe's Mean Green Juice. And it's like it's kale, cucumbers, ginger, green apples, and lemon. And sometimes he would put like a handful of spinach in it, right? So I had gotten all the stuff. I ordered it through Food Line, so refrigerator full of green stuff. I ordered it because after like a couple nights of all the nightmares, but I kept seeing that thing. I told my husband about it. He was like, well, maybe we need to get it. Go ahead and see if we can like order it from Food Line, because we can order groceries, right? And so I have stuff that I have like on the quick list, so it wasn't anything. And so I picked up the phone and kind of went to it and just kind of hit it. And during the whole week that I wasn't here, I wasn't answering the phone calls because like my head, the dizziness and the banging, I couldn't take the light, so it was dark. I had to keep my eyes covered and everything, right? It was like worse than a migraine headache. So I had him, we came down here when the stuff finally got here. He helped me down the stairs. And so I kind of walked him through the stuff who had the juice. Now, I forgot to tell him that when you put the lemon in there, we're supposed to peel it, not drop the whole thing in there. But by the time I had looked up, I saw he had pulled 2 lemons out. He had pulled out enough stuff to make us both some, because he was juicing as well. But he never made the mean green juice himself before. But I noticed one of the lemons was missing off the counter. I'm like, wait a minute. I know he wait, babe, did you drop a whole lemon into the juicer? He said, yeah. I said, no, you're supposed to peel it first. I said, all that zest, I said, it's going to make that extremely bitter. He said, it'll be all right. I said, yeah, you're going to drink it. And so he, he, he juiced it. And mind you, my mom hadn't bought the chicken noodle soup and the stuff over yet. So I still couldn't smell or taste anything. But when I put that crap in my mouth, it like, I ain't gonna say it opened up everything, but it like sent this wave of taste through my mouth where I could taste everything in the mean green juice because of the lemon. Because remember, I told you the only thing at that point when I tasted lemon, I could only taste, and it was just on the tip of my tongue, and it was real faint. But when he did that, he dropped the whole lemon in there, like the peels and everything, and which made it was extremely bitter. But for that quick second, and opened up everything, and I was like, oh, ugh. I said that is disgusting, and I started coughing. He said, he said, you okay? I was like, pour that crap out. And he was like, no. He said, we just juiced all this good stuff. I said, well, you drink it. I said, you gotta make me another. I said, I can't do it. I can't. I'll go without taste for the rest of my life. I can't do that. And so, hey, Tootie. And so when he tasted, he's like, oh yeah, that's disgusting. And so he poured it out and he did another one. But just kind of drunk that a little bit. And I think that's been helping as well. So it can't do anything worse than what the medicine was doing. So I think that's helping me recover a little bit faster to the Joe's Green Mean Juice. I'm gonna make some more of that today. So, but yeah, y'all. So that's everything. So um so I'm feeling a whole lot better today. Definitely still trying to get the cough is not as bad. Um but it's definitely a lot better, and whatever is in my chest is definitely broken up.
Don't get on my mom's lap.
Look, stop, y'all, chill. But they did do X-rays and stuff too. But they said that my chest was like completely clear, so I'm not even sure where all the mucus was coming from. Where it was just like building up, but they checked and they said everything. They said your lungs are crystal clear. They're fine. But other than that, y'all, that's it. So that's why I've been. Y'all, look, I ain't even done the reading, which we ain't gonna do it today because I didn't realize I was gonna take this long explaining to the birds.
No, you said you say something with you.
See, they back with it. The shenanigans, y'all. Yes, you can end the video. We're gonna end it in a couple minutes. So
say look, you can end a big video. Wait.
So that's pretty much it, y'all. I'm done with my story on what was happening with me last week. So I'm glad I'm feeling a lot better. I'm glad I'm still here in the land of the living. Oh my gosh. And like I said, not that I ever take things for granted, but your smell and your taste, that's a whole nother level of stop, y'all. I don't know. A whole nother level of appreciation I say I have now. And I know some people have lost the use of things that are like their limbs and stuff. And I couldn't even imagine that. You know, it's bad enough not being able to smell your surroundings and taste what you're eating. And, you know, it's that's bad enough, you know. So stop, don't, please don't start. So I'm praying for all those that are. I'm praying for all those who may still be, excuse me, dealing with the vid and everything, you know. So now I used to think when it first started coming out. Now I saw people getting sick and everything, and then you have people. Wait a minute.
No, I think Jesus is coming out.
Boy, don't start with your shenanigans. Don't start. Isaiah. Listen, so I at first when it first started happening, yeah, I definitely got that. I've been loading back up on my vitamins again, the vitamin B, C, and Z. I got B3. And I got some more quercetin and vitamin K.
See, that can burn my eyes.
I actually started taking them again yesterday in my I started taking that again yesterday because I didn't want to, although I take all that natural stuff kind of mixed together, I didn't want to take it with the other stuff because I'm not sure how. I don't think it would have did anything. I think natural things are fine, but I don't know. With the nightmares and stuff, I really wasn't sure. And I stopped taking my vitamins and everything together, just trying to get through everything in my system, get my body healed, you know. So, but I used to think that I guess they kind of come from listening to a bunch of people. I ain't gonna call them conspiracy theories, but maybe those people who hadn't necessarily. Wait a minute, Pooh. Not
Mom, you have a whole thing tuna.
Okay.
For penguin.
Okay. People were saying, well, you know, it's all a hoax and everything, but still people getting sick and people were dying. Right. I definitely I didn't think it was a hoax, but I did think they was kind of overinflating a lot of stuff until I started until people that I knew started being affected by it. I'm like, well, there's definitely something to it. And then with my sister working in the hospital, being a nurse and actually seeing people herself with her own eyes coming in and it's affecting them, and actually people while she was on duty dying from the complications of it and all the different things. I'm like, well, shoot, something's happening, you know. So that's why I'm like, you know, yeah, something is definitely happening, you know. And they say that I tested positive for it. I'm not sure that I need to go get another test or whatever, but they ain't gonna constantly keep testing me either. The test that they did was horrible. They took that freaking Q-tip. It was a long swab, and it feel like they stuck that thing all the way to my brain. That's what it felt like. Every time I think about it, I can feel it. It didn't hurt, but it is something that you're just not prepared for if you haven't gotten one done. Now, they didn't do that to Bella. See, that's what kind of threw me off, because with Bella, they just said, oh, come here, sweetie. And right there, and I thought that's what they was going to do. That's not what they did to me. They took a long swab, and when I saw it, I'm like, that's not the swab they used for Bella. Although I didn't go to patient first, I had to go to the hospital. They took that thing. It was probably two of the pin size. Y'all seen them. I'm probably over exaggerating that a little bit, but y'all know them long swabs that they have. And she took that. She said, "You got to hold real still." I'm like, okay, because I saw them swab Bella. Like I said, it was just like right there, right there. They didn't even really go inside her nose. I mean, they probably went like right there to about there, and they swabbed the inside of both of hers, right? They took it. They didn't even swab. They just took it and pushed it all the way back to the top of my brain, and then they pulled it out, and then they went to go test it. And that enough right there. That's probably. And I had just taken a nausea medicine, so that right there is probably what caused me to pass out while I was in there. But yes, baby. Don't. Why, people? Why? Guys, we gotta go. Listen. Yeah, so that's. Okay. Thank you. Okay, y'all. So that's it. We didn't even do the reading today, but I did. Excuse me. I did want to let y'all know, give y'all the update and stuff. We back. I felt like I told my mom. I said, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I ain't been there. I took a whole week off. I haven't. So we've been here every day for like the last 3 years. Every day. I've only been a Sabbath day away from you guys in the last 3 years, and not to do it for like a whole week. I mean, I couldn't do anything. I was literally like bedridden. But not to be here, I felt like I was wrong. I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt like I was abandoning my post.
The phone.
But yeah, y'all. So
the phone.
I really thought we was gonna do the reading today. Maybe I'll shut. I did so much talking. I probably would have got through it okay today. But I don't know. Maybe I just kind of needed to exercise my voice because this is the most I done talked since the last time we was here. Like I really kind of been quiet, trying not to cough and stuff. But I see my voice is doing okay. So tomorrow, what we was gonna read today, we'll read tomorrow. But I hope y'all didn't really get much of a chance to experience anything.
In my mom video.
The tabernacles. I hope y'all enjoyed tabernacles. I hope y'all had a chance to spend time out there in your sukas, your tents. During the last week, I couldn't. I was bedridden, y'all. So this is first year, and since we started celebrating, why I didn't actually get a chance to go get in there because I couldn't get out there. So all right, y'all, but that's it. Thanks for hanging out today. I know I missed a lot of the comments. I'm gonna go back and read them. So they doing too much. I kind of just wanted to give y'all an update on me. So if y'all was waiting for the reading today, I'm sorry. I thought I was just gonna give you like a quick little update, but once I got to talking, I just decided to tell y'all the whole story. All right, so with that being said, I love y'all guys. But I ain't do the shimmer or nothing, but I'll do the blessing. It's Wednesday, September 29th, 2021, day 265 of year 3 of we ain't read nothing. Of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. I'm so used to saying it. And of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 934.
Boys, look.
Hey, guys, chill, please. You're doing too much. Everybody's like crowded around me. All right, y'all.
Oh, I just look like a crown.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Let me see. Yeah, Hezekiah. Yeah. It was the worst.
Nani in here too?
Yeah, Nani here. She on YouTube. Okay. Oh wow. Sorry to hear that, Jake. I just saw your comment. It said his uncle got it in January. Gave his kidney and lungs permanent damage. Wow. Sorry to hear that. May Yahuwah heal him. Yeah. I got my thoughts about it. And Bella, stop. I got my thoughts about the virus and them releasing it in the public. And, I'll kind of keep those comments to myself for the time being. Because, I don't know, I might already, by me seeing it a couple times, I might already be walking a fine line with this video today. I don't know. We'll see. They'll probably put it up and say I got misinformation in it. But it's not misinformation. I'm telling you exactly what happened to me.
Not my cover.
All right. Yanata, good to see you. Thanks, bro. Auntie, shalom. Mom, shalom. Let's go through and say hey to everybody. Josiah, shalom. Joy. Hey, hey.
Hi, Nani.
Adaya, Nick, Jake, Lisa, hey girl, hey. Yeah, I am feeling better. I'm probably feeling hot now because they crowding around me, but the temperature is broken. Um, thanks to I probably do need to take another sip. But it my body's not really overheating, like it was. Okay, let's see. Hezekiah, yeah, Hadiah. I don't think I missed anybody. At least everybody that comment. I think I mentioned everybody. No, Sanshon, aka Sean. And I said hey to Shayla and Dreams. I love her earlier. Okay. And over here, Trina. Hey girl. Hey, Alicia. Uncle Nathaniel. I saw somebody else. Robert. Uncle JB. Hey. Levon, Tiffany. Yeah, Levon, Tiffany, and Dana. I said hey to earlier. Okay.
Look to here.
All right, y'all. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and do this blessing and get on up out of here, y'all. All right. Ooh, pull it up. Oh, you can tell this was the last place I was on my laptop. It just pulled right when I open it. It's right there. Now, when I say I ain't touched nothing, I ain't touched nothing. Electronics and nothing.
Yes, her is.
Okay. Remember, the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. The Nazarite vows, the first 21 verses. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah will kneel before us, presenting gifts, and will guard us with a hedge of protection. Yahuwah will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards us, bringing order, and he will provide us with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahuwah will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon us, and he will set in place all we need to be whole and complete. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all back here in the morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Thanks again, everybody. Love y'all. All right. Yeah, they've been missing the roots. You're driving me up the wall, Hezekiah. Okay, go ahead, Tootie. Go ahead. All right, Zay. I'm calm. Okay. They sweet. They've been kind of while driving me up the wall, kind of taking care of me. I say Josiah, my 9-year-old. Let me not say that, but he has been probably the most. I mean, aside from my husband. No, thank you, Trudy. No, all they care about is getting on my phone. As soon as I end this, they want to play games on my phone. But Josiah really has. He's been really helpful in the last couple of days while moving around a little bit. He'll come through and be like, "Mom, you okay? You need help with anything? You need me to help you walk around?" I'm like, "No, boo, I'm fine." So he's been really helpful. Josh has been too. Bella and Zay really just want to get my phone at any given time. And if you got any kind of message from me, it looked kind of weird, maybe a bunch of numbers or letters or something. It wasn't me like sleep typing or anything. It was probably Bella, because she done sent a couple messages to a few different people. But yeah, even in last week.
And I sent Uncle Jonathan.
Yeah, she was sending out messages to different people. So yeah, if y'all got a crazy message that didn't seem quite right, it probably came from Bella. So, all right, y'all. Love y'all too. All right, I'll see y'all back here in the morning. Peace.
Bye.
What did he say?
Okay, that one.
Mommy, can I get on your phone?
No.
Mommy.
No, people.
Can I get on your phone because Josh last night? Joshua the other night. Mom, Joshua the other night stole my time.
Shalom, everybody.
By playing with Elijah.
And you gotta hit it again.
But no, I only played one match because he got sleepy.